Hi Sagittarius, welcome to your August 2024 horoscope. I'm sorry to break it to you, but August is not exactly a very easy month astrology-wise. We have one very big aspect, which is a square between Jupiter and Saturn. The square is happening on August 19th, so even though it's later in the month, it's quite a major event, so I want to start off this horoscope by talking about it. A square between Jupiter and Saturn is quite interesting because it's a square between hope and optimism and patience and hard work. It's a type of square where there's a tension between feeling good, feeling like things are flowing and things are easy, versus feeling like it's like a traffic jam. You go and you stop, you go and you stop. It's a feeling that you keep reaching roadblocks, you keep bumping up against walls. And this is a square aspect as well, which means that it's a type of tension that cannot be ignored. You cannot just shove it under the rug and hope it goes away. It's so much in our face, it's so obvious, and it's so irritating that we have to do something about it. So yeah, very fun. And for you, Sagittarius, Jupiter is in your 7th house and Saturn is in your 4th house. And because these are angular houses, you are one of the 4 zodiac signs who will experience this square quite intensely. Jupiter in your 7th house is showing that things are gelling nicely with your relationship. Perhaps you feel a sense of flow and a sense of ease, a sense of optimism and hope there as well. But at the same time, because you have Saturn in your 4th house, you feel like things when it comes to your home and your family are not gelling so nicely. You might not feel as hopeful or as optimistic in that area of your life. You might feel a bit more pessimistic. You might feel like you need to put a lot of hard work and time and energy into your family, into your home. Perhaps maybe you're doing literal renovations of your home that require a lot of work and time. And this tension between the two is quite obvious. It's the highest highs that you have when you're with your partner and the lowest lows when you're with your family. And the contrast, the tension is very difficult to ignore. So this square is happening on the 19th of August. However, let's talk about the whole week before the 19th of August. On August 14th, we have the spark that lights the fire, the Jupiter-Saturn fire. So on March 14th, we have Mars conjunct Jupiter. The day after, on the 15th, Mars squares Saturn. The way I see this sort of playing out is on the 14th, you feel optimistic, you feel hopeful, and you take some sort of a courageous, bold action. You face your fears, especially when it comes to your relationships. Maybe you're scared to tell your partner, I love you for the first time. And this is when you do it. However, keep in mind that Mars the next day squares Saturn. So even though you took a bold and courageous action, you acted out of optimism, you're faced with the reality of Saturn. You're faced with perhaps your bold action not producing the desired outcome. And obviously this can have a very strong effect on you. It can make you feel down. It can make you feel hopeless. Saturn can bring feelings of hopelessness. And it can make it difficult for you to find pleasure and enjoy life. And I especially say this because a couple of days later, on the 18th of August, Venus opposes Saturn. So we see this planet of pleasure and love again being faced off with the planet of reality. And then finally, of course, the next day on August 19th, we have that square between Jupiter and Saturn. There is one major thing about the square that I didn't share with you yet, which is that not only do we have a square between Jupiter and Saturn, but we also have a full moon at the same time. I know, it's insane. Not only do we have the tension from Jupiter and Saturn, we also have the tension, the literal opposition between the sun and the moon. For you, Sagittarius, the moon will be in your third house. And because this is a full moon in the sign of Aquarius, I feel like all of us will feel like outcasts as a result of whatever happens during the Jupiter and Saturn square. The moon in Aquarius represents feeling misunderstood, feeling like we don't belong, feeling like an outcast. And for you specifically, Sagittarius, it might have to do that you feel like an outcast with really your local community, your local surroundings. Keep in mind that everybody is experiencing a full moon in Aquarius. I think everybody, to a certain extent, is going to feel like an outcast during this full moon, during this square between Jupiter and Saturn. And so one thing I'm advising to all of the zodiac signs is to not be afraid to open up to somebody that you trust. You might find that when you share your Jupiter square Saturn struggles, they share their back. And as a result, you can start to feel a little bit like you do belong, and that you can chip away at those feelings of being an outcast. So there are two more challenging aspects that we need to talk about in the month of August. I know. I'm sorry. It is what it is. We cannot make it up. So those two challenging aspects actually both involve Venus, funny enough. So at the beginning of the month, Venus squares Uranus, and at the end of the month, Venus opposes Neptune. For you, Sagittarius, Uranus is in your 6th house of health and routine. So there might be some sort of sudden change or unexpected change when it comes to either your health or your routine that is making it really difficult for you to enjoy life, to enjoy the pleasures of life, to express your loving nature, making it difficult to maybe also love yourself and feel self-confidence in yourself. Then at the end of the month, Venus opposes Neptune, and Neptune is in your 4th house. So because of this, you are letting go of certain dreams that you had about what family meant, what it meant to belong to a family, to have a family. And honestly, it's kind of a nice way to close off the month. Because with the Jupiter and Saturn square, you are exploring those dynamics of family. And it's almost like there's some sort of realization that arises from that square, that towards the end of the month, you realize, hey, there are certain beliefs I have about family structures, about belonging, that actually I realize now are no longer true. I realize now they may have been a bit of an illusion, and things are not actually the way I thought they were. And there's this need for you at the end of the month to shed those illusions, to shed those dreams. And again, this is an opposition with Venus. So it might be difficult for you to enjoy life and to feel confidence in yourself when you are doing this shedding, when you are coming to these realizations. So yeah, the challenges, the challenging aspects that Venus has during this month make it difficult for all of us actually to just be able to enjoy the simple pleasures of life. But okay, I saved the best for last. I saved one good aspect to close off this horoscope. And this is a new moon happening on August 4th. This new moon is honestly like a breath of fresh air. There isn't really any challenging aspects. There's some sextiles, but nothing major. And it's a new moon in Leo. So the sun and the moon are in Leo. For you, Sagittarius, this is happening in the 9th house. So perhaps you start some travels, perhaps you start a new educational program, maybe you start with a new belief system, or you incorporate a new value into your life. And this is honestly a really nice energy to start off the month with. We're going to need that energy from the new moon to get us through the rest of the month. So please do enjoy it. Stock up, put it in your reserves, put it in your cupboards, some of that extra good new moon energy. You might need to reach to it and use it as support later in the month. But honestly, one word of caution I do give about this new moon to all of the zodiac signs is to be careful of overextending yourself. Both Mars and Jupiter are in the sign of Gemini, and all of this energy in the sign of Gemini could manifest as overextension, doing too many things, spreading yourself thin over 100 things. So that would be just one word of caution for this new moon. But honestly, don't even worry about it. Enjoy it. Enjoy the new moon. Yeah, because we're gonna need it later in the month for sure. Thank you so much for joining me, Sagittarius. I hope this forecast at least gives you a piece of clarity, a piece of comfort for what's to come in the month of August. And I believe in you. You got this. We all got this. And I know it can be difficult to do in the moment, but see if you can find small moments to reflect on what's happening and what the learning lesson might be behind it. Don't forget that I am doing a giveaway. I'm giving one free reading when we reach 1,000 subscribers. So if you want to make sure you qualify for that, then press that subscribe button. Thanks for joining me, Sagittarius, and I hope to see you again soon.